Hey everyone, it's Emma back from the Marketing Success Summit. Today I am delighted to introduce you guys to Christina Jones. Christina is from Bristol and is the follow-up queen. So thank you so much, Christina, for being here today.
Oh, no, you're welcome, Emma. Emma, pleasure.
It's great. I'm so delighted to have Christina here. Christina and I have been working on a couple of projects over the last year, and she's one of these people that she knows the tech industry inside and out. She has been in business since 2001, in particular in the tech industry, and working in e-commerce, web design. And I think Christina is one of the few people that understands business in the holistic sense, as in making money, and also understanding e-commerce, and more specifically retargeting and targeting customers through ad campaigns. And she's one of my go-to people in terms of what to do when I'm looking at targeting particular people. So as Christina goes through her presentation, I'm sure at the end she'll let you know how you can contact her. But what I would highly recommend people is listen in, because the trends that she's able to tell you about, they're really bang on. And she really knows her stuff. I mean, there's very few people out there that actually do have their own e-commerce businesses when they're advising on web design, when they're advising on targeting. So she's one of the few people that would actually knows it from both sides of the coin, which I think is unique. So, again, welcome, Christina. I really am delighted to have you here, and I'm really looking forward to this presentation and learning from you as well. So over to you, and if you want to share your presentation and maybe just introduce yourself
Sure.
from your own perspective.
Awesome, right, let me flip up. It's always the nervous moment of, is the tech gonna play? And it's not helping. I was showing Emma sooner, I have got a giant like new little gadget light stuck over my webcam, and so it's a selfie light. My kind of path to becoming a Japanese tourist is almost complete, but it makes it a challenge. I can't see my toolbar, so the slight problem. But yeah, so this morning, 2017 tech trends you need to pay attention to. We're going to really keep the emphasis on making this very, very practical. There's a lot that kind of comes out in the media. We're 2 weeks off the back of Web Summit, which is one of the best tech conferences out there. And there's a lot of big kind of trends and new things. And a lot of the talk in the media is sometimes a little bit highbrow. And what I want to really focus on today is, how's the kind of what's coming down the line in 2017 going to affect your typical smaller business, rather than kind of big corporations, and that kind of really relates to kind of Emma. Really nice introduction, thank you. And maybe I'll just hire you to kind of follow me around and tell people that all day long. But as Emma mentioned, I've been doing business online since 2001. I started off in e-commerce. I've now got a Google partner digital agency. We've got clients in 3 continents, and I've always started off specialising in the horse industry. I mean, it's just massively varied now. I'm trying to think of a particular niche that we've not worked in, and so that's why it's always about looking at the fundamentals, and kind of good digital marketing applies. Kind of the product or service you're selling is almost irrelevant, because the kind of tools and the strategies they really apply across a lot of different things. As Emma mentioned, I've got 3 e-commerce stores, so this time of year is insane. And they're really test labs, which is so much fun, because you've got a lot more freedom when you're spending your own money on ads than if you're spending clients' money on ads. You can do riskier things, and you can always be trying out all the brand new stuff, which is what I want to talk about today. So kind of moving swiftly on, first topic I want to look at is Snapchat. And I think, 2016 has definitely been the year of Snapchat going mainstream. Snapchat used to be what people teenagers and people who were sexting, basically. That was Snapchat. But suddenly, mainly actually, I think, Gary Vaynerchuk, I don't know if he's actually a shareholder in Snapchat. If he's not, they should give him a lot of shares, because he has so championed Snapchat this year and really, really helped kind of bring it to kind of mainstream attention. So if you use Snapchat at the moment, you'll notice there's a huge amount now of major brands using Snapchat. And, but I said we're going to focus on not what the big guys are doing. And I'm not going to talk to you about Snapchat strategy either. It's actually one of my least favorite platforms to use personally, which obviously now, I think now I'm in my 30s, I'm probably considered an old fart in the tech world. But the one thing I wanted to mention to you is Snapchat is, I'd be very surprised if they don't launch an advertising platform within Snapchat next year. At the moment, Snapchat is totally free to use, and they're not making a lot of revenue per se. Typical tech industry, big startups. It's all about getting a massive user base and then bringing in ads. So you've seen Instagram. It took them a long time to introduce ads into Instagram. So ads coming into Snapchat, and that's just something to be aware of. There is no information that I've come across yet about the kind of format they're going to take. But the reason why I'm drawing it to your attention is that whenever a platform is new, it's normally very cheap to advertise there because people are slow to adopt. Very big companies have budgets that are kind of written quarterly, annually, etc., and just kind of layers of bureaucracy, and sometimes it can be really difficult for their marketing departments to suddenly turn around and say, actually, we'd like to throw 10% of our budget at Snapchat ads. And smaller businesses don't jump on because they're really busy. Your typical small business owner or even marketing manager in a business, or perhaps where you've got a bigger team, it's very rare to find them sat around twiddling the thumbs saying, I've got so much time today, what should I do? I'll learn a brand new tech platform. It just doesn't happen, does it, Emma?
No, they're not very busy if they've got time to do that.
And so what it means is that if you're struggling to advertise online effectively, and Google ads, I'm running some ad campaigns at the moment on Google for the first e-commerce site. So that launched in 2001. So our profit margins on the products are the same. Prices have gone up, inflation, but the amount we make percentage-wise has stayed fairly static. And our ad campaigns they're not dramatically different. AdWords format-wise, not that different. We're now paying. It costs us 10 times as much to advertise on Google as it did 15 years ago. And that eats into profit margin and can make it difficult. There's some campaigns you just struggle to make profitable now on Google. So this this year, Facebook has got a lot more expensive. Facebook has done an amazing job of hitting kind of peak. You kind of fairly mainstream. I get a lot of people, it's almost like they've forgotten about Google. Businesses are so focused on Facebook advertising, but Facebook is, they're kind of reporting they're running out of ad capacity. So they think that by potentially first quarter of next year, second quarter of next year, they cannot squeeze any more ads on the platform. And what will happen is you're buying ads in an auction format. If there are more buyers, kind of more bidders than there are available offerings. It's just like if you're trying to buy, a racehorse at auction, price goes up. So if you're finding yourself priced out of advertising elsewhere, new platforms are great. So at the moment, Pinterest is still an inexpensive place to advertise because a lot of people just aren't using it. I think Snapchat will be the same. My caveat on that is it needs to make sense for your business. It needs to make sense for your audience. If your target customer is the over 65s and you're selling stair lifts, Snapchat might not be the best place to be throwing it out. So to kind of I'm kind of, this is a bit of a sort of crystal ball trends for 2017. Use some common sense in terms of if the new toys I'm talking about are appropriate for your business. That's my semi-serious legal disclaimer. So Snapchat ads, watch this space. Next up, Instagram. And again, this is a talk about, with Instagram, it's ads. It's become a very mature platform ad-wise. They've made it super easy to use. A lot of you who are advertising on Facebook, you can just run your ads across Instagram in exactly the same format. So what's new for 2017? Buyable profiles. So, excuse me. So it's me getting so excited about ads. Actually, for e-commerce, I think this is a massive one. So what will happen is it'll be the ability to buy products that are featured in an Instagram photo or video. directly from the platform.
You can do that though. They've just launched it, haven't they? Or
They have. So, but at the moment, it's restricted to people like Walmart and L'Oreal. They're not allowed it out into the wild for us minions yet.
it looks good. I saw somebody showing it the other day, and I mean, literally, you click, so say it's a handbag or I don't know, whatever, you just tap on it and buy it, and off you go. So it makes it so easy for the buyer. I mean, for a seller. I mean,
I love this. Emma saying, I saw someone else doing it. You've blatantly been handbag shopping on Instagram, haven't you?
So I wish I had time, Yesterday I went into my local town yesterday for the first time, I realised, in ages. So I don't actually go into the centre of town because I don't have time to park and go and shop. And first of all, I was highly surprised because the shop I went to was 1:10 and they were flush for lunch, because I forgot people go to lunch. And just not shopping really at all, I have to say. But yeah, I don't tell anyone.
But yeah, I just think it's going to be a really, really, really effective. If you're in e-commerce, if you sell physical products, Instagram, these new ad formats, I think are going to be fab. And Emma has, and it's not actually scripted, but Emma's done a really nice lead in to next thing I want to talk about, which is e-commerce. And this pic here up on the screen, this is an Amazon fulfillment warehouse.
Wow.
And Amazon has, first of all, e-commerce has massively disrupted it's just retail full stop. I didn't mention in the introduction, I have at one stage had a physical store, on a small independent high street, and there's a reason why I don't have that anymore, but I kept the e-commerce side of that business. And Amazon is, they're just leading the way, kind of here in the UK. Out of every £2 spent online, one of those is going to Amazon. And they have really pushed kind of things forward in terms of giving businesses another market. This is their fulfillment network. To me is the interesting one, and that's actually what I want to talk more about today. So they've got something available called FBA, which is Fulfillment by Amazon. So you as an e-commerce business can have your products in an Amazon warehouse. If you do this, it means that you can obviously sell through the Amazon platform, and everything comes under then the Prime program. So it means that consumers can get free next day shipping on your products, which is a really, really big incentive. The Prime program has been really successful for Amazon in terms of kind of building consumer loyalty, and the speed of it is relentless. So as Emma said, I actually live now about 12 miles outside the city centre. So Bristol would be, I think it's the 5th largest city in the UK. I'm pretty rural out here. I can now order certain products off Amazon at 3:00 in the afternoon and have them delivered to my house that evening. And it makes it's just raised the game in terms of what people expect from shopping online. So first of all, pressure on other small businesses to be able to deliver goods very quickly, especially over, we're coming into like the crazy season. You've got Black Friday and then Christmas, and massive pressure on the delivery network. But the kind of where FBA is really disrupting things is that it's not just UK businesses or US businesses, if you're watching this from across the pond. I've noticed a lot this year, actually even some of our suppliers from the Far East have got their products in, they've sent products over to Amazon warehousing. They've set up a shop on Amazon. So they're directly competing against us, even though they're manufacturing for us. And the products are, they've cut out so many layers of middlemen. There are no distributors, there's no import agents, there's no wholesalers, there's no sales reps, so they can sell these products really competitively. And also the whole kind of tax situation. Amazon itself is based, again, Amazon UK is actually Amazon SAL, which is based in Luxembourg. So they have got some massive tax efficiencies. If you're a Chinese company with products in fulfillment by Amazon, are the duties being collected? I'm sure probably technically they should, but it's just turning into the Wild West as the whole, our kind of tax system for businesses is built on people doing business in, country by country, and people traditionally banked in the country they were. And now you've got things like PayPal and Stripe and even things like Bitcoin. So money can flow very freely, but the whole chain of goods is getting completely changed around. And then that's kind of like moved on a stage again. And you guys might have noticed your Facebook feeds this year being full of ads for t-shirts, mugs, and actually the other ones this week, so someone's got some good targeting going on, is I keep on being showing ads for like high top canvas trainers with unicorns on.
What are you searching that you're getting unicorns on your?
Yeah, I think they know I'm horse obsessed. So.
I think that has 4 legs.
Yeah,
you, is it?
I'm a sucker for unicorns, and so this is then all these. Again, e-commerce is sort of like the fashionable business. I'm not actually quite sure why, because I think it's one of the most complex. But there are so many courses out there at the moment. Build your Shopify business, and Shopify is a particular e-commerce platform. And people are using websites like Teespring, and so they're holding no physical inventory. Things are being produced on demand, and again, that is that's a big competitor. It's one of the reasons this time last year we had some of our products featured on The Apprentice UK, and they were t-shirts. Amazing. I now have completely discontinued. There are no t-shirts. In fact, there's probably like 10 or 20, the last one. So please, guys, go and buy some, because I'm so sick of them. Just get the last. If you've got a 4 to 6 year old, perfect Christmas present. So go buy them a guinea pig t-shirt. But there's a reason why this year I don't physically carry any t-shirts anymore, because it doesn't make sense to hold that much inventory in all those different sizes when you're then competing against people who you've just got a leaner supply chain. And in some ways it makes a lot of sense. This whole idea of why have all these warehouses all over the UK, all these small businesses holding stock, and a lot of them dead stock kind of accumulatively sat across the shelves. It's far more efficient to be kind of doing print on demand. And the same with things like 3D printing, which hasn't really kind of hit mainstream yet. But in a nutshell, excuse me, I don't sound particularly healthy today. In a nutshell, e-commerce is seeing huge disruption. And it's almost unrecognizable to me as a business model compared to where it was 5 years ago. And I'm really intrigued to see where it goes over the next 5 years. I've certainly made some decisions about what I'm doing in my own businesses. And it'll kind of, if we have this conversation in 12 months' time, we'll see whether I was right or whether I was wrong. But yeah, big changes in e-commerce. And then there's just one final thing, because although I said I wasn't going to talk about things that were announced at big conferences, one of the, to me, it was the standout of Web Summit 2015 was Elon Musk, who is behind Tesla cars, SpaceX, Solar City, this concept of Hyperloop, which is this new transportation system. And so back in 2015, November 2015, they announced their test track for Hyperloop. And if you've got no idea what Hyperloop is, just Google Hyperloop Web Summit 2016, and you can see the presentation they delivered 2 or 3 weeks ago. And it sounded like complete science fiction. But I think that Elon Musk is one of the most talented business people that's ever walked the earth. And if anyone could bring this project to fruition, it'll be him. So 2 weeks ago, they announced they've actually done a deal with Dubai to put in the first commercial Hyperloop system. And the reason why I'm talking about Hyperloop in the context of e-commerce is, at the moment, of the majority of the goods, so of this photo here, I'd say 80 to 90% of these goods will have come in on a container ship into the UK. Consumer electronics, toys, fashion. There's not much manufacturing here in the UK anymore. There's not much in the US. And, in kind of comparison to the Far East. And everything here comes in onto by container ship. Emma knows a lot about the perils of kind of bringing in and moving goods around the world and the country from her previous career. And so again, this stuff comes over, it's in actually transit for 6 to 8 weeks. It's cost effective to do it in large quantities. To bring over a pallet by itself is just insane. Everything is, kind of geared up around ports and all the major sort of commercial real estate, the most expensive places to live in most countries, the capital cities, everything's based around ports. Hyperloop has the potential to massively shorten transport cycles. So we could also start seeing that while we've got what's happened in the sort of e-commerce biz with things like t-shirts and sneakers and mugs, that could apply to a lot of other industries. And it may well be that suddenly, some of your competitors, their production cycles have dropped down to, they manufacture and they can have things, either in a warehouse within a couple of days using something like Hyperloop, or actually even direct to consumer. And so, it's just massive, massive disruption. And I really feel that a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about in this presentation, and this kind of part about e-commerce, is I think we're going to see more change in the next decade than we've perhaps seen since the Industrial Revolution in terms of kind of factors affecting like business. And no one is talking about it very much. So it fascinates me. So it's slightly off topic, but go check out Hyperloop. And if you're spending a lot of money on shipping goods around the world, that might be, kind of things might be very, very different in 5 years' time.
Yeah.
So Hyperloop, whoop, whoop.
That's great, because I know when I worked in Lidl, the supermarket chain, one of the biggest issues is obviously stock and movement of stock. Like Christina was saying, like we used to order wine for Christmas in May, and not only do you have to order it, I mean that's fine, that's that job done, but you then have to decide when it needs to come in. So for Christina was saying, you're not going to take in 30 lorry loads of wine in one day. It just wouldn't make sense. So you've got to stagger it because it has to go in and equally it has to go out. So in terms of the time it actually physically stays in the warehouse, the least amount of time it actually stays in the warehouse is the best for the business because it costs you the least. Because if stock is just sitting there, it's just costing you money basically because it's you're not selling it and it's equally taking up space for something else. So it's a very interesting thing, and I definitely would have run into a lot of difficulties whereby with fresh stock. I think I was talking to somebody yesterday about ferries missing ferries, and one guy, he broke his leg apparently off the boat, or just jumping down off the cab in the lorry, and just normal things like at the ports. In France, there was a problem with a crane. We had an entire truck of ice cream went missing once for 3 weeks, and it turned out just somebody forgot about it in terms of the paperwork, and it was sitting on a Porsche. Obviously it's refrigerated, so it was fine. However, 32 pallets of ice cream going missing, and of course it was a heat wave. It was not very helpful. But these are the things I think anybody that's ordering stock, these are the issues you run into. And actually, I'm just interested even looking at that picture because I know I've done so much work in warehouses and stuff, and just counting stuff and all the rest of it, that how close they all are together and how there's barcodes there and where everything is, so that everything they scan, it has to be scanned out, scanned in, and all the rest of it. So it is fascinating, and equally, even in the last couple of years, how more quickly you can get stock, where before it would take you 10 weeks now, you can get things in 12 days and all the rest of it. So, from what Christina is saying, it's actually going to be revolutionized even more so again. And that, I would say, would leave, huge opportunities for people, in terms of business, getting into business, and equally if you're in e-commerce, because the movement of goods, and how quickly you can do so. Obviously, you've got to sell it as well, and that's the major thing. There's no point in ordering it, and then you're not shifting the stock. That's a whole other spiel. But that's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. And I think people should listen to Christina because, she's definitely in this marketplace for quite a long time. I think if the shifts like this moving, first mover advantage is a well-known advantage, in business. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on for sure. Thanks, Christina.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure. So then next thing I want to talk about is Something you guys are all familiar with. I know, if there's a single person watching today who's not used Facebook Messenger, I'd love to meet you. and Facebook Messenger has become, it's such a massive communication platform now, and it has, certainly for the kind of youth market, millennials, they are, a lot of people now, for kind of personal reasons, only have an email address to get things like order notifications, or something from your power company saying you need to send them your electricity meter, kind of online invoicing, that sort of thing. Their their sort of personal communication with friends and family, they're not emailing them anymore. They're using Facebook Messenger. Not just, they'll also be using things like Snapchat, WhatsApp, other platforms. But what I wanted to talk today about is Facebook Messenger potentially replacing emails. This is a bold statement here. Replacing email as a communication channel for businesses. And this is all about customer convenience. I will paraphrase it and say that I think this is a pain in the ass for business right now. Email is I know some there's kind of, especially the tech crowd, oh, we don't like email, we use things like Slack, etc. Email is old fashioned, blah blah blah. But email is still, to me, it's a very efficient way for businesses to communicate. If you're handling high volumes of email, again, we've just been talking about e-commerce. Is this like e-commerce where you've got a lot of customer-based emails, customer service-based emails? So there's lots of software out there. I personally use Help Scout, but all of you will have used things like Zendesk, which are sort of like support desk software, which allows you to very efficiently manage large amounts of customer service email. So far, there isn't anything out there, or if something has come out recently and you know about it, please message me and I will send you a really decent Christmas present. Because Facebook Messenger is how people how consumers want to communicate with you. You guys have all found that you get a lot of messages now to your Facebook pages for your business, and that people are more likely to be raising customer support queries through a Facebook message than perhaps by email. Certainly for me, actually, my personal Facebook Messenger, so attached to my personal Facebook account, Emma and I can't remember the last time we actually emailed each other. It's there. I'd probably go back through 40 to 50% of new clients of the agency. Probably the initial sales conversation started off on Facebook Messenger. And it's a challenge to manage it from a logistical point of view. What I wanted to talk about today was not what a pain in the arse it is, but kind of where it's going next. And that is it becoming this replacement for email for the stuff that I talked about, why people still maintain a personal inbox. So I've already touched on Shopify, which is now it's the fastest growing and is becoming a really, really dominant beast in e-commerce software for small to medium-sized businesses. Now there are, when I say small to medium-sized, there are significant multi-million-dollar businesses running on Shopify. But if you're someone like Tory Burch in the US, or Marks and Spencer's or something in the UK, you're running on completely custom platforms. But again, for small business, and traditionally a lot of integrations that have come out first on Shopify have moved on elsewhere. What this allows you to do now is, if you're shopping on Shopify stores that have got this turned on, you can have the option to receive all your order confirmation, order is shipped, kind of all those sorts of transactional emails via Facebook Messenger. And this is just massively convenient for the consumer. Their phone is always in their pocket. It's just the way they like to kind of communicate, and it's perhaps you feel more of a two-way nature, because you get a lot of personal personal messages in your inbox. It feels like more of a conversation within your Facebook Messenger inbox than it ever does in your email. So this is coming out there now with kind of combining it with chatbots, so artificial intelligence. And that allows people to use all that amazing data, say for example, that Facebook holds on us, combined with your kind of purchasing insights, means that actually a robot can pretty effectively upsell via Facebook Messenger. So an example of this, and this is where I kind of think perhaps I should have put a video into my presentation, so I'll try and explain it. But perhaps you've gone and bought a particular brand of clothing. So Emma's example of like a handbag, and you actually get a chat bot. So there's no human at the end of this who sends you a message via your Facebook Messenger saying, this has just come into stock and I thought you might love it because it would go really well with the handbag you bought last month. So it's replicating that where, Emma and I, we both grew up in, small rural towns. And, the backbone there of businesses is just great customer service. So for the very first business, the retail store I had, I was the third generation of my family to have a store on that high street. My parents' first business after they got married is they had a painting and decorating shop. So they sold things like Dulux paints. And they were the first people in Wales to have, that kind of paint mixing, like colour on demand. And that was back in something like 1981 or something. So personalisation. And also things like Sanderson fabrics, etc. Now, their sales were based on the fact that, my mum would be able to remember that, a customer would come in who'd spent quite a lot of money perhaps 3 months ago because they were redoing their living room, and they'd spend a lot of time picking paints and picking fabrics and all this kind of thing. And so they'd come in and she'd be like, oh, well, we've got some new things in, and I know you said you were thinking of getting some cushions made. This would work really well. It's an old-fashioned, good, small business sense, but done by robots on scale. And whether you think that's good or bad, I kind of got mixed feelings. That it makes it harder for small businesses because the one thing that they have got as an advantage is that personal service. You go and order something off Amazon. Actually, Amazon does remind you what you bought in the past, so that's probably not the best example, but it doesn't say it in quite the same personal way of, hi, Mrs. Roberts, it's so nice to see you, enjoying your new living room. I thought it looked great. Nowadays you'd say, I saw the photos you put up on Facebook. It looks awesome. She'd be, I'm thinking of doing my dining room next. It's like, oh, perfect. Right, come this way. But, so that's a real advantage to small businesses. And that advantage is going to be eroded because robots can work 24/7. They can actually remember things better than the kind of, no matter how committed you are as a small business owner, unless you've got literally a photographic memory, and it's scalable. So that's the danger for like a lot of businesses. Again, talking about retail, where good independent retail businesses are quite often really driven by owners, and you'll find it where we've probably all experienced it, where you go in somewhere on a Saturday and they've got Saturday girls in perhaps who are slightly bored teenagers, and it's a completely different shopping experience to when the owner is kind of there. So the kind of points for you guys to think is, pay attention to this because you're going to start seeing it when you yourselves are shopping online. So perhaps next time you get the option in checkout for this, just give it a test just to see what it's like for you as a consumer. Be aware that you're potentially losing a big competitive advantage, and you need to think of a way to kind of replace that. And this is something that I'm very aware of, that a lot of the work that's done in the agency here is with paid traffic. So a shameless plug for Emma, the All Access Pass for the Summit, because one of the things you get in the bonuses is access to previous recordings where there is an epic session on remarketing. So.
Totally. Yeah. And it's good. It's fantastic. Hi, Christina, obviously. She's the retargeting queen. And as you guys see, she's totally obsessed with selling on e-commerce and how to do it and how to target your customers in the best way possible. So yeah, it's good.
and at the moment, that's all technology driven, but fundamentally there's humans at the end of all that deciding on campaign strategies. Mm-hmm. And yes, we're using the tech to deliver digital adverts. We're also using tech more and more to optimize campaigns. But it's not inconceivable that in 3, 4, 5, 10 years time, that no matter the artificial intelligence could replace all of us digital ad guys could be out of a job. So again, it's about this kind of future forecasting. And I mean, I still think there's, people will always like to do business with people fundamentally. And there's certainly, I'm not going to give away all my plans for how to tackle this, but it's something I'm aware of as what's the threats. If you that kind of classic marketing thing of a SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. And I'm someone who's always focusing on opportunities, but at the back there is threats. And whereas I'm normally quite blasé about threats from things like competitors, etc., and that kind of thing, kind of artificial intelligence taking over the online ad industry is potentially a threat. And it's just something to kind of be aware of if you're in the same situation. So there's me being slightly negative. My final point is something that I think is hugely, hugely positive for small businesses. And this is something that's really hard for robots to replicate. And what I'm talking about here is online video. And this is my current obsession.
I love this picture. If you're going to start looking like that guy now, come on.
So for those of you who've got no idea who this is Casey Neistat, who is one of the best and biggest YouTubers out there. So go and check him out. So Casey, C-A-S-E-Y, and then Neistat, which is N-E-I-S-T-A-T. He is a film director, but he's also committed to doing a vlog, and he will he'll upload a video and have 200,000 views within the kind of first day. But if you don't want to live in New York City, whiz around on skateboards and be a YouTube celeb, why am I talking about this? Well, because predictions are showing that in 2017, 70% of traffic online is going to be consuming video. Facebook, there was a leaked screenshot. They've made some changes, in fact, really annoying changes lately but let me do what, I'll see if I can put this on screen because it'll be easier to explain it. This is where I have to really hope there's nothing dodgy on my Facebook. Always risky going live. That's it, it's safe, it's all horsey. So if you can see on, I'll put this right there. You can see the reflection of my selfie light. So what we've got there is this new marketplace, which is really, really annoying. Where Messenger used to live, that is Facebook trying to kind of steal market share from things like Gumtree, etc. At the same time they made that change, a screenshot got published of another tweet to Facebook mobile app allowing you to filter your newsfeed so all you were seeing was video. And video is just becoming the way that people like to consume content. And that's driven again by online, is the kind of people actually watching TV on a physical people watching content on physical television is, it's certainly for the younger market, just don't do it. They're watching on tablets, they're watching on phones. Now, video as a way for you guys to market your businesses. You should be doing it because that's the way the market's moving. If 70% of traffic online is people consuming video, then if 70% of your potential audience, that is how they want to be consuming content in kind of end of 2016, 2017. The advantages of video for smaller businesses is, bear in mind what I've been talking a little bit about, artificial intelligence, etc., and the ability to take away a lot of things that you perhaps had in terms of like personal service. But what video allows you to do is communicate very, very personally and effectively with your market. And that's something that a robot can't do. Yes, you can, there's already like animated bits of software out there that are really inexpensive to create. A lot of now like these kind of like cartoon drawings or animation and that sort of thing. But that personal connection, humans still fundamentally, and I mentioned at the introduction, my original academic training, nothing to do with digital. I went to vet school. So I'm very, very aware that humans and animals, there aren't that many differences between us.
For some people, even.
Yeah, exactly. And so that getting this like what we're doing today, you're getting to see people's faces, getting to interact with people, whether even if it's like one way. Emma and I can communicate, but you guys who are watching this, you can definitely kind of comment, and we'd love to kind of hear your thoughts and stuff. But you're watching this in a bit more of like a one-way transmission, but you will still feel more connection rather than if I'd submitted my script up to some kind of robo speech converter and gone off either for a lie-in or a night out and just let this run on auto presentation. Maybe that's what I'll do next time. Sorry, Emma. I mean, no, I'm too posh now. I don't.
I foresee that Christina's going to create a robot in her image,
Yeah.
and she's just going, just go touch the robot.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a massive opportunity for you guys to bring that personalization into your business. It's scalable, but it's not it's not replaceable by a robot the way now, good email marketing. I've got autoresponder emails. I actually feel a bit guilty about them because people think I write them myself because they send me the loveliest replies. And I was like, no, really, there's a logarithm somewhere in a computer that detects it's the first time someone's placed an order on a particular website and then fires off a particular email in response. That is, any of my competitors can copy that. That is, it's the computer doing it. This sort of thing, computers can't replace you. So it's a good kind of strategy for dealing with potential threats. The kind of on the strengths and the opportunity side of things, the other massively cool things about video is the advertising that kind of lies around video. You've got the ability to, first of all, run TV scale campaigns if you want, through things like YouTube, using YouTube TrueView ads. But you can start this off really, really scalable. You can spend $5 a day. You don't have to commit to spending £100,000 on a regional TV campaign. You can also remarket based on video stuff. So today is not about remarketing, but if you've come across me online before, if you heard the presentation I delivered earlier in the summer, you'll know I'm flipping obsessed with remarketing. Video is one of my favorite things to remarket to, because there's the ability, especially within Facebook, to track who is interested, who's actually consuming your videos, who's actually sitting there and watching them all the way through. Who is clicking off within 10 seconds because they think you're really bored. So if you're listening to this bit, you've stuck around here for, how long have we been for now, Emma? 30, 40 minutes?
I think it's about 40. Could actually be more. Actually,
yeah, Emma and I could talk all day, as you guys have probably noticed. So if you're sat here watching this now, then I think you'd probably be someone that I could sell something to potentially, because you're interested enough to stick around and listen.
She's stalking you right now.
Yeah, exactly. So what I've got to say, but you imagine being able to do that and kind of detect again on scale. Video ads are also, at the moment, the cheapest way to advertise on Facebook. So we talked earlier about, when we were talking about things like Snapchat and Instagram ads, about online ads getting more and more expensive. Video ads, cheap way. I'm not going to go too much into the ins and outs of why they're cheap, but just accept that they're the kind of cheap way to advertise on Facebook right now. So you've got a kind of triple whammy with video. One, it allows you to connect personally at scale and not be kind of replicated by a video, by a robot. Two is that it's how your customers are increasingly wanting to consume content. And three, you can do some really, really, really freaking mega online stalking campaigns off the back of video consumption and turn these people who are interested in your content into customers. Because there's a lot of talk, especially when it comes to social media. I'm probably going to offend now half the social media people who are on the summit, because they're obsessed with things like engagement. And engagement is fine, but I've never been able to go to the bank manager and say, my Facebook page has got loads of likes, and he's like, Yeah, but I need cold hard cash. That's the kind of currency that business fundamentally operates in. And so you need to get those people who are interested in all this amazing content you're putting out there, but turn them into customers. And video ads combined with remarketing is a flipping epic way to do it. And that's my crystal ball trends for 2017. I always get a bit nervous actually about making statements like this, because I kind of wonder, I'm going to come back and watch this actually. I'm putting my diary to watch this, like it kind of Christmas 2017. I kind of sat there, collapsed after another mad month, and I'll be on the sofa with a glass of port, and I will watch and then I was to say I do a blog. I'll do a video review of what I was right about and where I was epically wrong. so yeah, thank you so much for having me, Emma. And yeah.
Not at all. It's great to have you as always, Christina. So guys, if you want to contact Christina, you can get her. You can see there on the presentation. It's Christina Jones Online. .online, or Facebook Christina Jones Online, at Christina Jones for her Twitter. She has a workshop. Oh yes, tell us about the workshop actually.
I know I can't do something the day before Black Friday and not slip in a cheeky Black Friday deal. So if you thought today was interesting but you're unsure about how to kind of practically implement it, there is a workshop which is on the 5th of January. Now it's in the UK, and sorry US guys, I am crossing the pond a lot more next year, and there'll certainly be some stuff on the East Coast, but for now this is UK based, but it's in the Midlands. It's very close to airport and train connection, so if you'd like to come over, I'd love to see you. And we're going to be looking at kind of taking kind of what the current best practices in digital are, looking actually at what worked for you in 2016, because that's something that I find a lot of the time is when I sit down with new clients, not only do they not know what they should be doing, but they don't know what's working right now. There's some of them going to have really actually wildly successful businesses, award-winning, national level businesses, and you start talking to them about Google Analytics and the kind of eyes goes up, and because there's a lot of fear around digital, and people. So my kind of three kind of bugbears of mine is, one, people not knowing what's going on, because they don't understand how to read their data. The second is they've often got some really hidden assets in their business. I kind of go in and you start talking to people and they're like, yeah, we have got big email lists. But we've never really sent them a lot in the way of marketing emails. And then you start talking to them about the ability to upload those email lists into Facebook, create a custom audience and run adverts, and like their heads almost explode. They're like, really? You can do that? It's legal. And you're like, yeah. And then the third is about, what are they not doing? It's kind of introducing them the ability for them to scale their businesses effectively. So that in a nutshell is what we're looking at on this particular day. But for more information, just go to the link. And there is a special kind of summit offer that you guys are eligible for before this is released out to the wider market. And Emma twisted my arm on that. And yeah, so it'd be great to see you. And there is a rumour that a certain Irish marketing superstar might be being put on a plane to come along, but I can't confirm.
Woohoo! One-way ticket, right?
Yeah.
Great. Look, that's fantastic. And guys, please do check Christina out. She will be rolling out more courses and whatnot, I believe, out in the new year in 2017. She really knows her stuff. One of the few people, as I said earlier, that actually has worked for clients, but equally has her own e-commerce business as well. So she most certainly knows what she's talking about, and is a wonder and a great person to refer to if you need any help with your marketing, and particularly your retargeting and remarketing. So Christina, thank you so much.
Yeah, no, pleasure.
Getting up at the crack of dawn, quite early actually, and to do this recording, and really delighted you could be here. And again, thank you so much for sharing your wonderful knowledge with us.
Welcome, and I'm just going to say, enjoy the rest of the summit. I can't wait to listen into some of the other. There's a kind of a definitely an all-star lineup, so I've been learning a lot, and looking forward to catching some of the later presentations.
Great, please do, and come back to me. So again, thanks so much, and I will talk to you soon.
Perfect. Bye, Emma. Bye, everyone.